Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about estate planning with real estate with multiple heirs. Before we get to that though, I want to remind you, if you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning or probate and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to estatemeeting.com. Okay, so estate planning with real estate with multiple heirs. This could also, I guess, apply to maybe like paintings, maybe cars, not cash necessarily, because you can divide up cash and it's easy. But when it comes to real estate, things can get really tricky really fast. And the idea for today's sort of training or information or whatever you want to call it is some client work that I'm doing. Somebody has some property, multiple siblings, and the idea is when the parents are gone, the property is going to go to the multiple siblings, and they're trying to figure out how to organize it so that the property doesn't create sort of chaos within the family. You have to remember, imagine this, because when you have multiple property owners and their family members too, you add emotion into it, you add different financial objectives, and things can just get really rocky really fast. Imagine if you owned a house with 5 of your family members, okay? If you have siblings, that's great. Imagine owning it with them. But if you have just 5 family members, imagine owning a house with 5 family members and trying to figure out what to do with it. Do you sell it? Do you rent it? What if 1 or 2 people want to get out? What if 1 or 2 people want to buy it? How do you agree on the price? How do you agree on the financing? How long is this supposed to take, right? Who is in charge? All of these things become pretty big issues pretty quickly and can result in sort of these sides, people taking sides, these gangs forming. I wasn't gonna use the word gang, but these gangs forming where, a couple people want it this way, a few people want it that way, and they start to bicker and they start to, people want to win, things get emotional, and things get out of hand. So that can be a big problem. But there are some ways to sort of account for that. The easiest and first way to account for that is just to have ultimate clarity on what you want to do. Clarity on who's going to be in charge, clarity on how the property is going to be split up, clarity on who is going to get to have the opportunity to buy the property, clarity on all these things. For example, one of the sort of traditional ways that I would set this up, one of the usual places to start is to do it a couple ways. This property is going to 5 people. How are we going to decide, or when are we going to decide to sell it? That way, everybody that wants to have an opportunity to get out of the property can. Those that want to stay in can stay in, and they can figure it out later. The way that you do this, you just start setting timelines and deadlines for people to do things. What I suggested is you get the house appraised, so you sort of have a baseline value of the house. Nobody has to agree on what the price is. You get the appraisal, the professional tells you what it is. If you want a second opinion, you get the second opinion, and then you can average those out. That becomes your baseline price. So if only one person wants to buy the house of the family members, they have the opportunity to do so at that price. If more than 1 people want to, they can bid, right? They can make an offer. They gotta be at least at that baseline price. Otherwise, they have to, they put their best offer in, and the highest one wins. Then, once that happens, they have an opportunity to secure financing. If they can meet the financing deadline, which is typically like 60 days, something like that, just a normal financing deadline, then they have the ability to purchase the property. Those funds flow into the estate. Then the estate distributes the money to all of the family members. If they can't, then you go back to the drawing board and you do it all over again. But at the end of the day, what's most important, no matter what you do, is to have clarity, to think about this up front, to think about it before you have to make decisions, so that people can be rational, so that they can be level-headed, and so they are not sort of motivated by their own personal wants and needs, because it can get tricky. You have 6 chefs in the kitchen, everybody wants to be in charge, and it can degrade pretty quickly, and it can cause a lot of friction for relationships that don't really need to be full of friction. You just don't need that, okay? So if you have a real estate transaction, you have multiple family members, you have multiple members, really think about how to define the status. Think about how you're going to define splitting it up. Think about how you're going to define all these things before you have to. Makes things way easier, way simpler. If you need help with that, I'm happy to chat with you about it. I've done it a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different times, and I have ideas. All right. So as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have a question or comment, please leave it. I will answer it. If you know somebody needs to hear this, please share it with them. And if you want to talk about this or anything else related to estate planning, you can go to estatemeeting.com, set up a time to talk with us over the phone for free, estatemeeting.com. Okay, that's it. I am Christopher Small. I am the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning. We do probate. We do it well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you again soon. See ya.